welcome back to Season 2 of the Couch Managers Podcast, baby! I am Rishi, and there's, no John today. But that's because, people, don't worry, he's not gone anywhere. He'll be back next week. He's just extremely busy moving into his new house. I think last time we were with us, he hadn't had a day off for 35 days. I believe he hasn't had a day off now for about 45 days. So, good. He had to get in, and we can't blame him for that. So we wish him all the best. And next week, he'll be back on the pod, ready for the first episode of the season proper. But as always, we are here to do the research so you don't have to. And I say we because it won't just be me today. Oh no. Since we last left you, as we mentioned, the Couch Managers has grown. There's a couple of new Couch Managers with us, Brian and James. So what we're going to do is introduce Brian the Heffernan today. So Brian is a football scout by profession, in that he is a lead first-team video scout for Nativate in Denmark. He is also a football fanatic and has a brilliant insight into looking for those gems in fantasy football and football generally. So what we've done today is really take an in-depth approach to what the fixtures are in the upcoming week, pick some players from all of the teams, and give you guys a whole bunch of options. It's a beast of a pre-season, but it covers all bases, so you can't say we didn't help you. After that, we're going to make sure that we show you our teams, and we're going to highlight the fact that some of the other big boys aren't playing, and why that might be. Right, so I guess that's kind of it from me, other than to say to you, please don't forget to join our Fantasy Football League. All you've got to do is go on the website, www.couchmanagers.co.uk, click on Join Our FPL League, and click the picture. And there's a very special prize of two signed Jeff Hurst posters up for grabs. Hand signed by Jeff Hurst. The posters are prints, but it's a 1966 World Cup poster. So, signed by hand by Jeff Hurst, comes with a certificate of authenticity, which is even countersigned by a trustee, so you know it's legit. And, right, other than that, thank you, listeners, and let's do this. Let's get into the pod and meet Brian. Oh, wait, almost did it again. Almost flipping forgot again. Actually, disclaimer. As you know, occasionally I get excited. So does Brian, to be fair. So does John. And when that happens, the odd swear word can come out. If it really offends you, turn it off or just ignore it whilst it goes on. To be honest, we don't think it's that bad. It's not that often. But as a heads up, there could be a couple. Right, now let's do this.
You're now listening to the Couch Managers Podcast. Please don't forget to check out the website www.couchmanagers.co.uk.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as promised to you, the newest member of the Couch Managers. He is genuinely a football scout, a lead football scout at that, in Denmark, but coming to you from London, Brian the Heffernan.
Thank you very much, Richie. And yeah, don't forget the lead. Like, come on. But yeah, I'm very, very happy to be here. Very happy to be here.
Nice. So, as we said a little bit earlier, John is a very busy man at the moment. He is moving some serious shit, and he's got a lot of work to be getting on with. So, he'll be joining us. He'll be joining us for the season. But this week, it's a substitute, but it's a substitute we can all be very happy with, because hey, he knows more than the rest of us.
Unlike Giroud, you're happy when I've come on. Like.
There we go. I like that. He is like Olivier Giroud, and he's probably the best looking man in the Premier League, so that's not a bad comparison to have.
Many people say that about me in scouting. But...
You know why that is, Brian? It's because you live behind the webcam.
yeah. These Zoom meetings have been doing me well.
So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're still going to run through the fixtures, but we're going to do it slightly differently. Brian is going to bless us with his scouting brain, and he's going to pick out some gems. So we're going to have one per team, And, well, I say gems, no pressure. We'll see.
Well, yeah, gems now. In a week's time, I might look like an idiot. But yeah.
So we'll pick out a few gems. I'm going to crack out a couple of the obvious ones to go with it. And we're going to give you guys some really good ideas for that final push to build your team. Because I don't know if you're anything like me, that team has changed 10, 15 times this hour.
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of the Premier League clubs have been bringing in some tasty signings. So you just want all of them. But like,
exactly. And those midfielders as well are priced in such a way that it is impossible, literally impossible, to get all the big hitters in and still build a team. So that's something we'll look into a bit later. And also, at the end of all that, we're going to go through the teams that aren't playing, because there are a couple of real big teams that are missing conspicuously, I guess, for the first week. So,
yeah, some of the big boys.
Touch on those, and then lastly, reveal our current FPL teams that will probably change another 15 times before it goes out properly. Yeah,
that's most likely, isn't it?
it's true. And before we start, actually, one thing I forgot to mention about the Heff is that he is the CEO of our Twitter account. So, Brian, I don't know if you want to push that for a little moment.
Yeah, obviously, try and crack out the best tweets I can. Come join us. Come send me some hate. It's always fun reading hate mail. Followers are growing at a rapid rate, so obviously we need all the help that we can get. But,
we're nearly at double digits. I don't understand.
Yeah, double digits. That's the push.
Well, I know there's more of you than that listening to the podcast. I literally have this. Can people just please just like that social media? I mean, if nothing else, just go on there and tell Brian you don't like him. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll love that. I'll quote tweet you.
And also, good stuff as well. We got new articles that are all on the website by Brian and James the Hawks, who will be featured on the future podcasts as well. But check out the articles coming out regularly to you. Brian, anything to be looking out for on that front?
Fabio Silva one's up. I'm a very big fan of him. Maybe touching on him later on in the podcast. I won't say too much, but
nice. Any others on the horizon that could be coming in the next week or two?
I don't want to give it away. I'm waiting for the trending topic on Twitter to announce it. So.
Well, at least he's honest. Can't doubt on that, people. And the worst part is he does it himself, so I can't even tell you, even if I wanted to. So... Oh dear.
Is it? We'll build suspense.
Hopefully when James comes on, he'll be a little more open with his plans. But right. So let's get into this.
You're now listening to the Couch Managers Podcast. Please check out the website on www.couchmanagers.co.uk. Back to the pod.
So, into the fixtures.
Yes.
Right, so looking forward to the Premier coming back?
I am. I'm actually quite happy with the teams that went up and the teams that are currently in. I think it's going to be, I don't want to say ultra competitive because we know that really there's only 3 teams in it this year, but that's one more than last year. So
when you say 3 teams, which 3 are you referring to?
I'm referring to Liverpool, Manchester City and Chelsea.
you. I'm glad I've done a disclaimer. I'm still going to try, but you're testing me early. I'm going to have to politely disagree there. I think Chelsea, I think one way or the other with Chelsea, but we will dig into them. But yeah, I think you go one way or the other.
You can't be saying Man United. Surely you're not trying to probe for that. What?
I definitely am. A, obviously, as you know, massive Man United fan. But B, I think it's more open than you think. And I do think that Liverpool and City won't be as strong as they were last season.
Yeah, I agree. I think Liverpool will come second. I don't think Liverpool win it. But there's no way I can say that Man United are now on par with Liverpool.
You know, let's see what happens the rest of this window. I think DVB was a good signing, but you know, we'll get in. Actually, you know what? Let's start with, whilst we're getting tasty, what the most tasty kind of local derby as a London boy yourself. surely has to be Fulham Arsenal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good to have a nice competitive fixture. Obviously, not a big fan of Fulham myself.
For those who
For
don't know,
reasons.
Brian is a QPR fan.
I am indeed. So that's why I'm not ambitious about anyone's team.
He hates us
But
all
yeah.
equally. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can sit in a championship and just like, fire away.
Nice, very nice. So, Fulham Arsenal then. So I'll tell you what. Which one do you want to start with your pick?
With a player, I'll start with Fulham, and I've gone with Kenny Tete.
Ooh.
I think he's very much gone under the radar in terms of transfers that's happened, and it's probably because obviously a lot of the big teams have been bringing in massive names, and Tete isn't one of those massive names. But I think for Fulham and for the Premier League, it's a great signing. Champions League experience.
I was going to say I don't know much about Tete. I mean, Champions League experience. Do you know which clubs?
Well, Lyon, and believe he's Netherlands international as well. Ooh. Like for a right back, what more do you want? I think they paid tuppence for him. It's like 5 million. Ooh. So in today's market, is no brainer. That's a brilliant signing, and that's coming from a QPR fan about Fulham. So. Right. So what price do you think Tete's going to be coming in at then?
Well, funnily enough, I didn't want to burst your bubble whilst you're going through that because that was some beautiful insight. But he's not actually in the game just yet.
That's brilliant.
I'm sorry. Man. But
he's one to look out for.
Well, what we can do is I'll tell you what, listeners, as soon as that price is out, we will tweet that price out.
Yeah.
And so that's a reason to check out the Twitter there.
There you go.
But I'll tell you what, just to give it some context, the most expensive Fulham defender is Byron at 5. So if that gives you context, the rest are 4.5. So it's got to be one or the other. He won't be more than 5 million.
Yeah, it'd be around the same money.
Yeah, and it's not bad value, I don't think. But another player that a lot of people have looked at as a particularly cheap kind of striking option is Mitrovic.
Yes, the man that can do it in the Championship but struggles in the Prem.
6 million, so he balances out the front line very nicely indeed. And, he had some really juicy stats. 26% of the team of people have selected him. And last season, I know you of course, kept your eyes on him whilst watching Fulham in the Championship. So what did you make of it?
Well, Championship striker, 26 goals. What more do you need to say? But Premier League level, ooh. I mean, he did all right for Fulham last time in the Premier League, getting 11. So for the price, if you're happy with 11, but then go back to his Newcastle days and it wasn't super pretty.
It just didn't work for him at Newcastle, I have to say. And it's a weird fit because I thought Newcastle, when you look at it on paper, actually was a great fit for him because he loves a fight. And, Newcastle forwards are kind of known for that. So, but yeah, anyway, 6 million.
Yeah.
I think he's a good shout. And one that kind of always catches my eye is Tom Kearney, captain. I think he's just a reliable, he's going to play. He's going to get chipping with a few assists here and there. But if I'm brutally honest with people, there's better value out there. I wouldn't personally. But now that you've taken the best two.
Well, I was going to say, price-wise for him, he might not be top of everyone's list. But you never know.
Also, worth saying that Areola, who I think is a cracking signing for them from PSG in goal, is also not been given a price yet on the game. But I would say, people, to keep an eye on this, because if Areola's coming in at around 4.5, I'd say that's not a bad shout. But the caveat to that is obviously playing behind PSG's back line, you look a hell of a lot better, don't you?
Yeah, and I was going to say, obviously, Fulham being the new boys, clean sheets might be something they're hoping for, but are they really going to get them week in, week out? Yeah. I don't know.
I think you're unfortunately right. Sorry, Fulham fans out there. And I guess that leads...
I'm
not. You are one... I think he's actually normally all right, people. I don't know what's happened.
I'll be all right for the rest. All the rest. Fulham.
Really messing around.
Fulham are the only ones.
I might as well give it a pause for a minute. You hear that in the background? On to Arsenal, the team we all love to hate their defending. But, funnily enough, I mean, it'd be interesting what you think of this with the scout side, but I am not. I am not. I don't think they're going to be a shaky. I think Arteta's actually making them more solid. Dare I say it though? What do you think?
No, I think you're correct from what we've seen. I think obviously it's still very early days, but obviously my player pick is a centre back, so I obviously feel like they're going to be somewhat decent in defence this year. I've gone for Saliba. Obviously going to be playing along Magalhaes.
Very nice
name
pick.
to say. Yeah, so he's the only concern I have for him is injuries.
I tell you what. Just before we get, I mean that's a very key point actually. So please do dig into that. But
I will.
I know that there'll be a lot of Arsenal, maybe not Arsenal fans, but certainly a lot of fantasy football players who will not potentially be aware of Saliba. So for those of us who are unaware, where did he come from? What makes you getting kind of excited about him?
Well, it's actually one of those ones where, and you do get this in scouting, where the case for him is hard to say, but that's more down to other factors in his career, which we'll go into. But he did play a lot of minutes for in League One when he wasn't injured. He'd play 90 minutes every single game when he wasn't injured, which proves that he obviously has class for what they call Saint Etienne.
Yes.
So, like I said, it's a hard case to make, proving that he's just going to walk into Arsenal and be like the top guy. But I do believe staying injury-free, he will play most minutes, and I think Arsenal will do better than last season, definitely.
Well, what I think is interesting you said there about making a hard case to get in is that from our digging around, we've seen that David Luiz only has a 50% chance of playing. And Chambers also out, unknown, kind of when he's going to be back. Thiago Mari out as well, not due back till end of September. And Culley's a bit bare. I know we've also got the new boy coming in at 26 million. That's in real life, not on fantasy football. People, don't worry for Gabriel.
Yeah,
Saliba at 4.5. I think he could make a good partner for Gabriel at the back there.
Oh, definitely at 4.5. Definitely at 4.5.
I think that's a very cheeky little, because at 4.5 you don't normally find, big. I don't want to call it. I mean, Arsenal, I guess, still are a top six club, but just-ish. We're going to call them one of those big sixes, and they, you don't really get them for 4.5. They're going to regularly play. So,
yeah, we're talking about a future French international centre back for 4.5. But hamstring and metatarsal injuries last season kept him out for, I think, about 16 games in total.
Ooh, so maybe that's where the gamble comes into play.
Yeah, so I would say he's one to have for 4.5 million, but I would monitor him very carefully and be aware that injuries are in his repertoire.
I bet you're making Arsenal fans ecstatic at the moment with an already depleted back line.
Well, but these are the things. These are the things that you got to keep an eye out on. He's a very good player, and like I said, when he wasn't injured at Saint Etienne, he would play 90 minutes every single game. But obviously, missing close to 16 games injury at 19 years old does concern me from a scout's point of view. That would worry me.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, because you've got to build this squad to last. Because if you have a few, it's all right having one or two of those in your squad, but you start putting 4 or 5 in, it's likely you're going to have a crisis. Then with only having the 1 free transfer per week, or 2 if you've built it up, then you're in trouble. So it's definitely worth talking about. And Arsenal actually had a few people being picked from there. I know James the Hawks liked Saka a lot. 5.5 he is coming in at in the midfield. That's quite a cheap option for someone who's probably going to get a fair amount of game time under Arteta.
Yeah, I think he's showing promise as well, isn't he? I don't think he's there yet. So 5.5 might be a little bit much if he's going to continue, because you do see it sometimes. Like a young player will have a good kind of like tail end to the season and then kind of dip a bit when the new season starts. But I think 5.5. It's not extortionate.
It's not bad. And the 2 more obvious ones, obviously the new boy, Willian, in the building. And we're not going to go into detail on him because John did it on the last podcast. So if you didn't check it out, then check out pre-season part 1. But essentially, there's some really interesting stats as to why Willian could be a very good pick. And the obvious one, the elephant in the room that no one has spoken about, the man who is now listed as a midfielder, but as one of the top boys, price-wise, in the game, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 12 million.
Mr. was meant to be off to Barcelona, but doesn't look like he's going to be.
And he's given me real selection dilemmas because I think he is the one to have if you're only going to have one huge, heavy, big boy midfielder. That's the one to go for, in my opinion. But there's going to be a lot that's really up for debate because Sterling can just bang out a hat trick from nowhere. KDB, similar, but Pep could rest them. Out of those three, and let's chuck in maybe even Fernandes into that. And I forgot Mane and Salah, in fact. But even
it's
still,
tough, isn't it?
I mean,
it's tough. I personally went for. Well, should I say who I went for? Or are we waiting till the end?
You can. Well, no. If we stumble across him, then.
But you named him. You named him.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's see if the listeners can guess in the meantime. But Aubameyang, 12 million. I just think he almost pipped to that top goal scorer last season.
Big money, though, isn't it?
It is, but 22 goals and 5 assists last season is not messing around. And this year, don't forget, people, and if you're new to the game, this is always worth remembering, that when you list as a striker, you get 4 points for a goal. And when you list as a midfielder, you get 5 points for a goal. Also, as a midfielder, if the team get a clean sheet, then you get an extra point. So Aubameyang is going to get more points than he did last year. And last year, he already racked up 205. So he wasn't messing about.
It's a very good case.
He's in. But I guess result. What do you reckon? Fulham, Arsenal.
Arsenal. I like what Fulham got going on. But not joking around. But I think Arsenal got that.
Nice, very nice. And yeah, do you know what? I just out of pure spite will say Fulham 2-1.
Thanks a lot.
Crystal Palace against Southampton. I don't think we need to go into masses of depths on this one, but give us your gem.
It's kind of a gem. I think Michael Obafemi could be one to watch. I'm not sure what his price might be, but I think he's like a player I've seen recently in my work life, which I can't name. But he's one of those guys that his stats will lie to you, because he's done in a good way.
Right.
Because he's listed as playing 21 Premier League games last season, which when he only got 3 goals and 2 assists makes him look awful. But he only played 658 minutes, so he's not coming on for much in those outings. If we're being honest with ourselves, if you look through, he's got a lot of 15 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. So it's very unfair to kind of count that as an actual outing. And I've seen through some of the academy guys at Southampton. I'm very excited about him.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. Again, though, what I'm loving about your niches is they are niches, and this is going to keep people checking your Twitter account because he hasn't made the cut just yet.
Oh, but Jesus Christ. He's been in the Premier League for 3 seasons.
That's no, sorry, no. That's I just wanted to see what you said. Sorry, I had to do it.
Thank God. I was going to say, how is that possible?
Oh, dearie me. So Femi is coming in at 5 million, and he will balance your striking options. But will he get that much game time? That's the key. But I loving the analysis there. I'm loving it's certainly an option because I think what I'm finding, what a lot of people are probably finding at the moment, is that you want to get a lot into your team, so you got to have some slack somewhere in it. So someone like that with a bit of insight like that, because let's be honest, Hasselhoon's not an idiot either. He'll be seeing this as well. So
and like I said, I have seen a lot of people in the academy, like when they played, they're like, I've seen posts about them being really proud of him and oh, well done, he's going to be great. So, and normally these are people that have worked with him. So I would have thought that they know what they're going on about even more than I do. So he's obviously within the plans somewhere. There's no talk about him leaving that I've seen. So all signs kind of point to at least getting probably more minutes than last season. Maybe I'd say about 1,000 minutes.
So I got a couple that I want to pick your brain on for Southampton, actually. I'm going to blast them at you, and you can take them in any order you want.
Oh,
So I'm looking at... So I'm looking McCarthy. I'm looking at Walker-Peters. And I'm looking at Armstrong. Now, Danny Ings, I'll just touch on, obviously, because he had a great season last year. But I know you think he's going to have a bit of a dip this year.
I'm 80% confident he will. I will put my neck out and say that he will not get more than 20 goals.
I mean, 20 goals is some return, though, to be fair.
No, but that's me saying that.
I'll be saying he's not going to get 10 or something. Come on.
Okay, I expect no more than 15.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's more like it. Well, it's not more like it. I've just coded you into it, but
you just salesman me down into 15. Lucky I didn't put any wager on that.
But Ings, 8.5 million. What I would say though about Saints is it's a good run of fixtures. I think Palace away, Tottenham at home, Burnley away. That's not a bad run to begin the season.
Not bad, but obviously it's Premier League, so
and
Southampton are one of those teams that we don't know how they're going to play. Like, they could be a solid mid-table this year, or they could be in the relegation battle.
I think that's very true. Very true indeed.
I like Walker-Peters, as I mentioned. I think that's a good shout. I think he's got a point to prove, and I can see him getting game time. I can't see him not.
4.5.
4.5. That's solid for 4.5. Yeah.
I think he's going
to as an option. Yeah.
I think he would fill out that defence game with a nice cheap option. A lot of people looking at Ward-Prowse, but I like the way Armstrong finished the end of last season. He's got a bit of a knock at the moment, but 5.5, another kind of balancing option. Ward-Prowse 6 as well.
5.5 Armstrong. But it's the midfield, though, isn't it? Is there better options than an Armstrong? I suppose if you're a Southampton fan and you want Southampton players, he's probably yeah. Oh yeah, but then Ward-Prowse, like I'll probably have Ward-Prowse over Armstrong.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair assessment. And that one I could see, to be honest, going either way. Palace have got a very depleted back line.
Yes, so, but they did do a little bit of a naughty move on one of the players, Mr. Nathan Ferguson.
Oh, I didn't think he was going to go with him.
Yeah, obviously West Brom is a club that I covered a lot last season when I was doing journalism. So
For those of you who don't know, Brian is one of those people that tells you every 2 minutes something that you're like, how has he fitted all of this into his life? I'm not entirely sure. One of those being he was a journalist for West Brom. Continue. Sorry.
Well, I used to write about West Brom. I wasn't for West Brom.
Same difference.
Yeah, same difference. But yeah, he is a real talent. If you know his price, I'll be able to tell you how confident I am with him. If he has a price, that is.
You'll be pleased to know that Nathan Ferguson does have a price.
What are we saying for that?
4 million.
Oh, definite. 21 games in the Championship last season. 19 years old.
Injured at the moment, but 4 million, one to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, I'd say definitely 4 million. He's even cheap. I'd say probably on the level of Walker-Peters. That sort of range.
Okay.
West Brom really tried to keep hold of him, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. But I will maybe throw a little dig at the agent having some impact on him, and that contract not being signed and Crystal Palace getting a very nice deal. But at just 19, like he played nearly 2,000 minutes last season in the Championship. That's insane, and he can play both left and right back.
Oh, damn! He's got in my team. Forget the you lot. I need some of that 4 million bench fodder. I'm all about that at the moment. But
yeah, I think he's a real shout.
The one that I was going to ask you about, which I'm very surprised, I thought you were going to bring up, was obviously Eze, the big signing this summer.
Well, I knew you were going to bring him up. So.
don't play, but that's deep.
Let's be honest though. QPR fan, I kind of know what Eze's about. I'm not going to say he's going to do bad, And
Tell you what, that's
people are gonna think I'm being quite salty about it, though.
I was going to say, why don't you tell us a bit about Eze? Because actually, even I'll be brutally honest, I don't know a lot about him, and I reckon there'll be a lot of people that don't really know what Eze is about.
Yeah, well, he's exciting to watch, skillful, fast. He's creative. He's got a goal in him, got an assist in the championship. And this is my real concern because, as a QPR fan, I wasn't upset when he left. And you'd think losing your best player that you'd be sad. And that's not a dig, but we got 20 million for him.
And a 25% selling clause.
Exactly. So I know I wasn't. I actually think I celebrated when he's. I think I celebrated with you.
That's deep. I mean,
but not that he's a bad player. It's not that he's a bad player, but I just don't see him massively impacting a side. Because when it wasn't like if he didn't play for QPR, we'd be massively in a hole, and it was like the worst thing that happened. So like, it's one of those for me that I was kind of happy to see the money come into the club and him leave.
Oh well. I love the honesty, but yeah, surprised, I have to say.
Yeah, well, like I said, the future is bright Samuel, but he's going to go to Crystal Palace as well. So.
Right, and the slightly more obvious candidates. Are you actually, for a team that did very badly last season in terms of goals output last year, Palace, 9 goals, 3 assists, and got 132 points. For someone who's only coming in at 6 million, that's not a bad option, I don't think.
Yeah, not a bad one.
Could be one to consider there. And then on to the big game of the weekend. Well, I said a big game. 2 teams as a Man United fan. I just thought, I was really happy about Leeds United coming back into the league the whole time until it dawned on me as a Man United fan that Leeds United are back in the Premier League. And of all the games it could be to kick off the season, Leeds versus Liverpool. So I actually am going for Leeds in this one because, I dislike Liverpool that little bit more.
Let's go with Leeds. Wow.
No, I mean, that is pure. I'm not even going to lie to listeners. 100% salt. I just want
So no one can judge me for Eze.
Just want Liverpool. At least I'm honest about it. But Leeds, Liverpool. So, do you want to start with the Championship newcomers?
Championship newcomers, yes.
Sorry, the Championship winners.
Oh,
Premier League newcomers. What am I talking? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I come across something quite interesting today with a certain shirt number for a player that I was excited about when they first signed last season, who I'm hoping, and it looks like he's going to get game time. He's got the number 7 shirt, and it's Ian Povenda, or if that's how you pronounce his name, or Ian Povienda. I'm not quite sure.
Poveda.
Yeah,
Campo,
like
is that the one?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Former Man City youngster, played under 18s for them, youth league 3 times, which is a competition I rate extremely highly. And then got the odd outing in the championship, but he was a late signing in the season, so it was a bit unfair to judge. But he's been given the number 7 shirt, which surprised me because that, to me, indicates that he's a well-respected player and that will probably get minutes. I couldn't imagine it. I don't know why you'd give him such a big high-powered shirt.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so I was very surprised. He's only 20 years old. But
maybe be able to see something there that he likes.
Yeah, well, definitely, because he was very happy to get him in when he originally signed him. So, yeah, and he's won 2 Carabao Cups apparently. Don't know how that's happened.
So, has he?
It must be from City bench or something.
Right, yeah. Fair play to him. Well, that's very interesting, actually. He's not one that was on my radar, I have to say. So I'll be taking a deeper look into that. And a couple that what I will say is that I think what would be good to give the listeners this week, actually, is that your inside knowledge, your kind of just knowledge of Leeds is pretty hot. So you've done an article, which is on the website. Check it out, people, where you you kind of detail more so, actually, about Klitsch and Koch.
Yes.
But are there any others in there? Kind of Dallas, Ayling, Hernandez, Rodrigo, any of those that you want to mention?
They've got a very good side. I think someone that might get overlooked is Alioski. I'm not too sure if there's a reason for that. I don't know if he's injured or anything, but he's very impactful for Leeds. Absolutely crazy if the Leeds fans will know why I say that. There's a lot of lot of quite crazy videos about him. He's definitely a personality, but he's a fan favourite. Calvin Phillips, obviously, but he's now England international, so no longer an underrated player.
Rodrigo?
Klitsch is a workhorse. If anyone's looking for that guy that's going to play every single minute, then go with Klitsch.
And takes penalties.
Oh.
So, worth knowing that, because with VAR, there's a lot more penalties last year. And
true.
Yeah, so if you've got a good penalty take, it's always worth considering. And Rodrigo, I cannot believe they got him, to be fair. And I hope your Draxler room is wrong, but I mean, he'd be a great addition to the Prem, to be fair. But
yeah, Draxler would be, for Leeds, it'd be very good, because let's all be honest here, Pablo Hernandez has been aging for years. So they need some, not that Draxler's some young gun, but compared to Hernandez, yeah, he is. Obviously, Hernandez is still a great player. He can still play, but the legs must be going, especially playing Bielsa ball. Like, it's a lot for even young players.
It'd be important. 6 million, he'd be in the team. And Rodrigo, what do you think?
Scary. Could be a good scary, could be a bad scary. He's one of those coming in from Spain to the Premier League. You can never 100% know if he's going to. He could score 5 or he could score 25. But he's one of those. I think his versatility should help, because he can play out in the wings and down the middle.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he's one I'd be wary of.
6 million. Let's compare that. So we already touched on earlier. Mitrovic, 6 million. If you could have one or the other, who'd you go with?
I want to take Mitrovic.
Actually, sorry, Mitrovic was 6.5, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's only a little bit more, isn't it? So if you've got spare 0.5, I'd go Mitrovic over Rodrigo.
I was right the first time. It is 6 million. I'm getting wrong information fed.
Oh. Yeah, I would have Mitrovic, definitely.
Oh, interesting.
Over.
Okay.
Just because I can't trust Rodrigo yet.
Okay, it's a fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. And on to Liverpool, the champions from last season.
Yeah.
Set to defend their crown. I can't look past
might
Alexander-Arnold. I can't. I just can't. 7.5. I know he's crazy money, but when you think that Salah, who everyone raves about, and, you know, let's be fair, he was really good last year again, got a load of points. 233 points for Salah, 221 points for Mane. They both cost you 12 million each. Alexander-Arnold, 7.5, 210 points. 210 points. That is flipping madness.
Well, in terms of who I would pick for fantasy team, then yeah, you've just stolen who I would have said, because you can't look past that guy. But obviously, I like to try and be a bit niche. So I've picked someone that I'm wary of for Liverpool's sake, because they might be letting a very good thing slip through their fingers. And that's Marko Guric.
Ooh.
Serbian, born in, don't know where he was born in Serbia. But very good. Oh, he's a versatile midfielder. He can play CM and CDM. He can go cam, but he's more a defensive midfielder. But he plays a lot of games while on loan in the Bundesliga for Hertha Berlin. And Bundesliga has proved itself recently that it's now a league that's higher and higher in level. So when I see someone getting 2,500 minutes while on loan, that's a player that's obviously very good. And I've seen a lot of Hertha Berlin fans last season were begging the club to sign him. So he's obviously something special. I'm not going to sit here and say that I watch every Bundesliga game. And he does have injury issues as well. But I'm seeing rumours of them letting him go, and I think that's a big mistake.
Oh,
big mistake.
Do you want me to break your heart now or after?
Let's break it now. Where's he going?
He's he's not in the game.
Well, that's even worse. That's even worse. And to be honest, like I said, he wasn't a fantasy pick, because they probably will let him go. But I just wanted to have a little rant and tell Liverpool fans to get onto the, I don't know, whoever runs the Twitter of Liverpool, and beg them not to let this guy go, because he's only 24 years old. He's had 8 caps for Serbia. I'm going to say in 2 years' time, he'll be something absolutely amazing. And under Klopp, it'd be brilliant. He really would be brilliant.
You can feel the
and
passion.
it's another centre mid option.
But in the centre mid, one, if you want to go a bit more niche, because we've already touched Salah, Mane. I mean, actually, let's ask that one too. Salah or Mane? Who'd you have and why?
Salah or Mane? Well, I think doesn't statistically Mane do more than Salah?
Well, you tell me, because the points in fantasy football last year, Salah's marginally, and I mean marginally, outdone Mane. But if we look at minutes played, Mane last year, 2,745. Salah, 2,879. So more minutes, but slightly more points. So, I mean...
It is close, isn't it? But I think if we were talking even maybe like a year or two ago, I probably would have gone Salah. But I think Mane recently has definitely been, even just to watch, a bit more exciting than Salah. And I feel like this season he will outdo him. I think it's been coming. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mane outscore Salah.
Big call. Again, you think he's wrong? Go on the Twitter account and tell him.
Yeah.
So, right. I want to say Leeds, but actually, I genuinely think this could be a draw, because I think Leeds will be right up for this. So I'm going
to go Liverpool 4-1 to wake Leeds fan. It's going to be a wake-up call. And I've got Leeds. I can't remember exactly where I said to finish, but it's like low to mid-table.
Damn,
4-1. The fans are excited. It's one of those things where like the fans are excited, the club's back, but then the realism of being in the Premier League will hit. No, it's true. That's not even a dig. The realism of the Premier League will hit them.
He's digging people.
You have Patrick Bamford up front. Okay, that's all I need to say.
Oh dear, right. We've spent. I'll tell you what. We'll have to blast through a couple. And this is going to break the other couch manager John's heart, but one of them we're going to have to go through quickly. West Ham. I think West Ham are in trouble this year. I'm a bit worried for them. But maybe they have enough quality in the squad already, more than enough quality, but they need a bit more pace for me. So
they had that quality. They had the same quality last season, though.
Yeah, but I mean, last season was a bit of... I mean, Pellegrini just wasn't the right man for that job, in my opinion. I like Pellegrini as well, but he just, for me, wasn't the right man for that style and that team. And a lot of those players are kind of expecting the Hollywood treatment, I think, like the Felipe Andersons of this world, Yarmolenko's, and then realised it's West Ham, it's not Spurs, Chelsea, the London Dream.
So as a Man United fan, you think Moyes is the man for the job?
Yes, as it turns out.
How interesting.
As it turns out, I thought Moyes didn't get enough time, but the back end of last season did worry me. He needs to show me something a bit more progressive this season.
I am with you. West Ham, I'm very concerned for them. I struggle to pick out a player just to recommend. No, that's not, again, not even a dig. I used to write for West Ham, so I do have a soft spot
again,
for them.
there you go, bing!
But I want West Ham to do well. But I can't see it. Where's the imagination coming from? The player I had to pick was Josh Cullen because he done well in the Championship. That's as far as I got.
I mean, I'll tell you the one that did catch my Souček.
Premier League, like, come on, no. No. He's not going to keep him up, is he?
No, but okay, I'll tell you why though, because I think to balance your midfield, because I agree he's not going to light the world on fire, Souček, but what I see there is David Moyes trying to create himself Fellaini 2.0. And I think he does that with Souček. So he's going to be up there. He's going to be battling. And soon enough, he'll be playing off the front man. So 5 million for a guy who's going to be in and around it. And he's a real danger from set pieces for West Ham. I think he could be one if you need a cheap midfielder to balance it out.
If you're desperate, yeah.
I would have got Antonio, but they changed him. They moved him to a striker this year. So it's less bang for your buck, as it were, in terms of getting those extra points. And 6.5. So already more than Mitrovic and Rodrigo that we talked on earlier.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, no way. I'll be very surprised if he got in anyone's but West Ham fans' teams.
Exactly. But Newcastle, I'm actually quite excited for Newcastle. I think they could have a good year this year. I really do. I'm loving the. I say I'm loving. Ryan Fraser is a dick. Let's get it straight before what he did to Bournemouth. But, but I think for some Newcastle, sorry, for him who was targeting Arsenal and Spurs, and then Newcastle ended up getting him and getting a partner that he's comfortable in terms of patterns of play and knowing the chemistry with Callum Wilson. I think that's a really, really good kind of set of signings. And with St. Maximin already looking exciting on the other wing, now I see a really good counter-attacking team with someone like Shelby who can spray it. So I like the look of Newcastle.
Don't know what else to add. I think you've summed that up pretty bloody well, to be honest.
It's prices whilst I'm at it. No.
No, I think you're right. I've been really impressed with the business they've done. I think it's smart. I think it's safe. They haven't spent ridiculous money, but I think you need to if you're Newcastle. What are Newcastle trying to do this season? Let's be real with ourselves. They're not trying to win. They'll take Europa League if they can scrape it, but let's be honest, they just want to have a decent season.
It's true.
I think Ryan Fraser and Wilson will definitely do that. Like you said, St. Maximin's amazing. They need to keep hold of him no matter what. He's an extremely important player.
5.5 for St. Maximin. 5.5.
Yeah. That's one to think about. I went with Jamal Lewis.
Yes.
Because, I think Liverpool win for him as well. And then again, Newcastle have got him. I think he's solid. I don't really know what else to add. I think everyone saw last season, and that's why he was attracting so much interest.
For 4.5, good value.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options this year for the fullbacks. So he's one of those ones that you might want to think about. I think clean sheets he'll definitely get a few with Newcastle this season, won't they? I think they'll be solid this season.
I mean, Newcastle's first three as well. West Ham away, Brighton at home, Tottenham away. They could definitely get two clean sheets out of three there.
Yeah, definitely. The only thing that worries me about Newcastle's business is contract lengths. Everyone kind of signed massive 5-year deals. I think all the 3 new signings got big 5-year deals, which is, from a business point of view, concerns me a little bit. But let's be real, doesn't affect fantasy football at all.
True. So, yeah, I think you're right. Those so Shelby. Almiron also a good place, 6 million. But St. Maximin 5.5, Fraser 6, Callum Wilson 6.5. What do you think of that in terms of those kind of 6 to 6.5 mil strikers we've been talking about?
So I think Mitrovic makes any kind of like 6 to 8 mil striker quite hard to justify, because he could get 10 goals this season. And how many is Callum Wilson going to get? He might get 12, 13.
Callum Wilson to be around the same, to be fair, but he's a little bit more expensive. So
yes, that's what I mean. Like, I think Mitrovic coming back kind of does throw a bit of a spanner in the works.
And I think actually you're right, because what I like about that is that it's a debate between Wilson and Mitrovic, but I think I would struggle having St. Maximin and Wilson in my team, and I'd feel more comfortable if I had eggs in different baskets in that sense. So I had the Mitrovic option.
Because Newcastle did good business, but they are, again, one of those teams that you don't know what sort of season they're going to have until it all kicks off and they win 5-0 or lose 5-0.
Nice. And in a word, West Ham, Newcastle, or draw? What do you reckon?
That's got draw written all over it, really, hasn't it? Newcastle, if anyone's going to win, it's Newcastle.
Nice. And then on to Sunday. We got there.
Yep.
Hopefully you're still with us, people.
Well, yeah.
West Brom, Leicester. Now, there you go. Club close to your heart, West Brom. Talk to me, Brian. Yeah. What's going on? Tell the people. And I think, actually, it's, again, a bit like Leeds. I'd almost go obvious. What happened? Obvious in your mind, not obvious to the rest of us. Oh. What happened in the Championship? Who are we looking out for? Where's the gems in this squad?
Well, what happened is West Brom did... Can I say this? I'm going to say they did one of the best deals in the Premier League transfer window. Okay. I can't say the best, but I'm going to say one of, in getting in Grady Diangana.
Really?
And West Ham, I'm going to say it again, West Ham are idiots for letting him go. Who the hell made that choice? Mark Noble agrees. Who the hell let that one go through? I have no idea. The maths doesn't add up. He's 22, played 30 games in the Championship, got 8 goals, 7 assists in under 2,000 minutes. where does that say? Oh, we'll sell him. What? That was just ridiculous. I can't believe it.
And
So yeah, 100%. He's my West Brom pick.
And as a player, what would we expect from him then? What kind of player is he? What does he do? What does he bring to the table?
Pace, beats to man, skills, goals, assists, everything you want is in Grady Diangana.
Everything that
West Ham needs is in Grady Diangana. So that's why I couldn't believe it when they told him excellent business from West Brom, who are a side that I like a lot. Not even just because they used to cover them, but I think they've done good business. I think they've got a very solid squad. I don't think they'll be in trouble. I don't think they're going to thrive and do anything special, but I think they're safe. I think they're very safe. They've got experience, got a bit of flair, got some goals. So, Mateus Pereira is a monster.
Nice.
Mateus Pereira could be a top 6 club.
Oh wow, really? Coming in at 6 million, he is the most expensive midfielder at West Brom. But
Mateus, yeah, I would have thought so.
And Diangana, sorry, I can't say his name very well, but he's 5.5. So same price, same maximum. If you could have one or the other, which one do you go?
Ooh. See, I love Diangana. It just depends. See, because obviously, so maximum, you have that experience in the Premier League already. But if he was like 4.5, I'd take Diangana. But I think at that price, being the same as someone to the level of St. Maximin does make him a little bit hard. But maybe for a bench, maybe a bench option, take Diangana.
Nice. Very nice. So I've just for the listeners here, I've been caught out. I just noticed in the corner of Brian's room a little waving hand. I was like, what the hell is that?
Oh, the little Chinese cat thing.
Nice. I haven't noticed it for the whole recording, and I just saw it. I was like, what? Oh, wow. So that caught me out for a moment, and probably a good way to move straight into Leicester.
Yes,
so
Leicester.
The biggest probably example of a tale of two halves of a season. Brilliant till November, nosedived after. Defensively, for me, the one that I picked out as a little bit of a different gem, Justin, just purely because, so that's James Justin, so I should have given the full name there. Purely because Pereira's out injured for a long while now, and he's a right back. I fancy him to start in place, and at 4.5, again, it allows you to bolster other areas of your team. So I quite like him for those reasons.
Yeah, it's another one of those options, isn't it? A bit like I said a minute ago, like the fullbacks. I think there's going to be quite a few fullbacks, like 4.5, that are going to have arguments that you can have on the bench or maybe even in the squad.
Exactly.
Because there's quite a few good ones around.
No, it's a good one.
I'm a little bit disappointed in Leicester this season, if I'm going to be totally honest. When I look through the squad, I'm a little bit uninspired. That's the word that comes to mind.
But they play them quite deep, so I don't think you'll get the points. But as a player, I really like.
I like their players, but then I kind of look at them like, well, what are they going to do different to last season? And with a lot of teams strengthening, I think they're just going to take a backwards move, if I'm honest.
About Vardy at 10 million. Thoughts on that?
Well, actually, I was going to say he's like Ings, but he's not. He's a lot more consistent than Ings. But
if you look at Vardy, in the last 3 seasons, he's had 23 goals, 18 goals, 20 goals.
Yeah. See, I do like him. I do like him, and I think at 10 million, I think you've got to put him in.
Looking at Jamie Vardy's consistency when we did dig into the stats, actually since the season when they won it, 2015-16, he's never been below 20 goal involvement in a season, i.e. 20 goals and assists combined. And
yeah, so a 10 million can't go wrong, can you?
And over 30 in a couple of those as well. So
yeah,
he's
top level.
It's top, it's big stuff, Vardy. So that'd be our shout there. And again, in a word, Leicester West Brom draw. What do you think?
West Brom.
Ooh, nice. Okay. And then I guess we've all been watching the documentary. The special one, I think it's Amazon, by the way, are lucky SOBs. You imagine they signed a deal with City and got the 100-point season with Pep in charge and behind the scenes of that. And they got a deal with Spurs, and it just happened to be the season where Poch gets sacked and Mourinho comes in. So their first 2 football documentaries, they got Mourinho and Pep That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
I think saying documentaries about clubs are lucky. There's a couple of fans near the Newcastle area that might be crying.
I mean, it's fascinating though, Jose, isn't he? It's amazing how much that man says the word "fucked." I didn't. I just didn't.
Yeah, well, he's a role model, isn't he?
I like him. I have to say, and you can
Yeah.
see he is definitely addressing that kind of soft, unlike soft belly that Spurs seems to have had for years. That kind of just makes them choke at the last minute for, or Spurs it, be Spursy, as we all kind of refer to him,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, they've
But
done good business, haven't they? They've
yeah,
done very good
Doherty at
business.
12 million. How? I need to learn from Daniel Levy. If anyone knows Levy and can get him to hook me up with his techniques, I got to learn this. It will help me in my real job.
Yeah, that's up there a bit like some of the other signings. So that's up there, one of the best as well. That's a really, really, because you know what you're going to get from him. He's not going to be crap.
No.
Like, you know he's a good signing.
And he's got a good sort of mentality, hard worker,
Yeah.
really good delivery of the ball. For someone like Kane, I think he could be a dream to play with, to be fair.
Yeah. And I think similar with Højbjerg as well, talking about some of the characteristics.
Yeah.
You know, he's like kind of, I can't even think of the word, like get in there sort of midfielder. Just great business, because again, you know he's not going to be crap because he's been at this level for how many seasons now? Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
No, I like him.
Just solid. My only concern with them is maybe a bit too much youth in the defence. If they do get injuries, could catch them out a little bit.
And style of play as well. Will they really be going for goals, and will it be like, as you know, Jose's a win at all cost kind of guy, which is great.
Yeah, but they look at their forwards. They've got like, I'd like to say like sassy forwards. They got like Son, they got Bergwijn, Mora. It's like flair all round. Then you've got Kane with his lead feet.
Lead feet and a mallet for a forehead.
Yeah.
He's in business.
He doesn't look good next to Bergwijn and Son.
that gets to my main man. I couldn't, again, he's obvious, but I have to have Harry Kane on my team this year. His record just does not lie. And and I was debating it. And then when I see how much Mourinho wants him to be his main man and be the main man at Spurs in the league, even in the world, by the way, he's trying to talk him up, then I think, look, I mean, since 2014-15, I'm going to go through his record. 21 goals, 7 assists. 15-16, 25 goals, 3 assists. Next season, 29 goals, 7 assists. Season after, 29 goals, 2 assists. 2018-19, 17 goals, 6 assists. And last year, 18 goals, 2 assists. And his minutes was so much lower because of the injuries. So if he's fit, he's in. First 3 for me, he's got Everton, Southampton, Newcastle. Goals.
Well, but he is a slow starter.
Yeah, so we say. I mean, him and Son at 9 million also, I think, is really worth talking about, because when we're looking at Mane and Salah's and these guys for 12, you obviously want to have a big midfield without going too crazy. So I think Son's a very nice balance at 9 million to have as almost your second or third big hitter in the midfield.
I think someone that's quite interesting, which is the player I pulled out, is Jedson Fernandez.
Oh, okay.
I feel like we could see more from him this season, because obviously he's still got that. I can't even work out. Is he signed or is he on some loan with a sign? It's like some really confusing deal that's going on. Some people say that he's signed, but then he's got a buy option, and his release clause is like 130 million. So like, it's quite a confusing deal. I don't know what's going on, but obviously he's a highly rated talent, Portuguese youth league, Champions League level. So like, he knows what he's doing, and I think Spurs fans shouldn't be too concerned about him. I think he'll kick on this season.
Nice. Do you think he'll start?
Maybe. So someone coming in like Højbjerg, who's going to be so consistent, might block that a little bit. But you never know. With Mourinho, feels like tinkering a little bit.
Nice. And out of Ali, Son, Mora, I'll give you the prices as well. So Son at 9, Ali 8, Lucas Moura 7. Who's your pick?
Son 9, Ali 8. I don't think Ali, if I'm being honest. Mora. I think you'd have to go Son, wouldn't you? Like Moura is that guy that will score the important goals, but how many is he going to score all season? Like if he comes on like with 70 minutes left, you kind of he's that sort of impact striker that you think, yeah, he can get a goal against tired legs. So maybe he's quite an expensive bench option though, isn't it? 7 million.
Yes, definitely.
I think there's better out there. So I'd go with Son.
No, definitely so. Okay, I agree with that. I would say Son for me, 9 million, blends in beautifully. And then Everton, really quickly on Everton, because there's a couple in there, but what do you fancy?
I like them this season.
Okay.
They're one of those teams that you say that you like every season because they always seem like they're doing something. But I think they've got solid defence. Digne, Coleman. I don't know if there's injuries there or anything, but like Keane, it's solid enough. But that midfield, Allen, James Rodriguez, Gabamine, Tom Davis. These are Doucouré.
Doucouré is a great signing to give them.
That's a very good midfield. And then sitting in front of them, you've got Richarlison. Moise Keane's probably going back to Juventus, isn't he? Then Iwobi. Walcott can be decent as well, can't he? On his day.
So, out of those though, so let's have a little breakdown of those. So, Walcott 6 million, Doucouré 5.5, Sigurdsson 7, Iwobi 6. Out of those, who'd you pick? And actually, we'll get to the other one after. Go on. Who'd you pick out of those?
They're kind of like the duds of the team.
Exactly. So if we're not going to go with those, no, because I think that's a good point. Because I agree, I wouldn't go for any of them personally.
Not saying Doucouré is a dud. He is a very good player, but for fantasy football, I can't see what he's going to bring you.
Exactly.
Clean sheets, maybe.
Yeah. And you don't want that from a midfielder. You want that, obviously, the goals and the assists. So I agree. So the elephant in the room in the midfield, not Jay. Jay's Jay, but it's James Rodriguez.
Well, that's the player I singled out. I know I usually go for unobvious players, but...
Ooh. So talk to me then, Brian. James Rodriguez, remind the world.
I'm going to remind the world of Real Madrid, a small little club in Spain. 37 goals, 42 assists in 125 games for Real Madrid. And people go on about this guy being a flop. Like that doesn't look like a flop to me.
Won a couple of Champions Leagues as well, I believe, in his time there.
But he won everything. His trophy cabinet's full up.
And we all know Carlo Ancelotti absolutely loves him. He takes him everywhere. Take him to Bayern. Brought him to Real.
That's brilliant, though, isn't it? Because then you got that little chemistry already going on.
So do you think he plays straight off the bat? Do you think he starts first game?
Yeah. If he's fit, yeah.
Oh, okay. So 7.5.
How can Everton not play James Rodriguez?
It's true.
Like you said, a 2-time Champions League winner.
I'm debating him. He's one of my wild card potentials to come into my midfield at 7.5. Because the thing with him is he will go one way or the other. He's got the potential to really light it up or just be a dud. And I'm inclined to say he's got a point to prove under a manager he loves in a team that's going to look at him as the superstar. So
for me, he's that player that when Everton go away to Burnley or go away to Sheffield United, he will be the one that has that moment of magic that gets them the 3 points.
Nice.
That's why I rate him so highly for Everton this season.
No, I think that's good. And also up top, Richarlison.
But that's going to benefit Richarlison as well. Imagine a James Rodriguez delivery into Richarlison.
So do you see that being
they're dangerous? Yeah. I've got Everton pretty dangerous. At least top 10.
Ooh, okay. So Richarlison and James Rodriguez combining there. And if you combine their price, they come in at 15.5. Richarlison listed as a striker this year, people. Do not forget that. 8 million as a striker.
8 million, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Rodriguez 7.5 though. I'm tempted to have a punt on him, but let's see. And then we'll get
that's one of those ones. That's one of those ones you could give maybe 2 or 3 game weeks, see how he settles in.
Exactly. And I think this one, sorry Sheffield United and Wolves fans, but we can only give you a couple of minutes here because I think Zoom's going to time us out pretty soon.
Yeah. I've already written an article on the player I'm going to talk about, so if you want to know more about him, you can read that.
In which case, yeah. And in fact, in which case, I'm not going to let you use him, Brian, because that people stop being lazy. Get on the damn website and read his article.
Oh, yeah, it's true. But I will say it's Fabio Silva.
Fabio Silva, but go on. I know I know you've been dying to rave about this guy, so go for it.
Well, because I'm going to get shot on Twitter for saying that he's going to be brilliant. But people look at his Liga NOS, and I mentioned this in the article. People look at his Liga NOS and say, "Oh, well, he only got 1 goal in 12 games." But again, stats lie. He only played 182 minutes. That's 2 games plus 2 minutes, and he scored 1 goal. So that means he scores a goal every other game.
Yeah.
What and like in the Nations, not Nations League, in the Youth League, 5 goals, 4 assists in 9 games. Youth League, and this is UEFA Youth League. People laugh at it, but that is top level. I watch it all the time. It's one of my favourite competitions. Top level players come through that. So if he's making them look like idiots, then
what kind of players have come through there in the past?
Bloody everyone. Who do you want to know?
Good answer. You know what? Just about how passionate that answer is, and I'm going to argue the point. You're going to have that.
If you look at like any top youngster from like 2015 onwards,
but my
they
question
all would
for
have
you,
played
Brian,
in the Youth League.
Is where does he fit into the team positionally?
Yeah, I think obviously he's going to need minutes, but he's only 18, so he's one of those ones where, like, for fantasy, maybe he is a gamble, but you never know with injuries. Like, obviously, the main front round is going to be Jimenez and then like Neto, Jota, like those sorts, but they're not stacked in forwards, so it's really. I can really see him playing quite a bit, especially with an injury. He could play quite a lot, depending on how bad the injury is. So,
I think as a kind of inside forward, do you think they'll play him straight through the middle to begin with?
He's played the majority of his career straight through the middle, like as a centre forward. And obviously he's been the main man, like in the youth leagues and obviously like the academies. It's been everyone looks to Fabio Silva, so he's kind of that. Like the Ronaldo of the Porto, if that makes sense.
Right,
like, he's the main man. So maybe coming into the Premier League 18, he might be ready to kind of fill in for someone already.
Nice, that's what we like to hear. And when I heard you touch on that, obviously Jimenez we know all about, 8.5 million this year. Last season, 17 goals, 7 assists. Not one to be sniffed at. And Wolves, I think, will go from strength to strength this season. Strengthened well. But Sheffield United away, Man City home, first 2, not the easiest fixtures, I would suggest. But I wanted to like that you talked about there, Jota, 6.5 and listed as a midfielder this year.
Interesting. He does play out wide, doesn't he?
He's like kind of. It's a funny.
He's a bit of a floater, isn't he?
He's a 3-4-3, isn't it? So he's kind of. He is technically out wide, but it's quite a narrow.
Yeah.
Just off Jimenez type role.
Yeah, no.
And the fullbacks kind of provide that further width. But yeah, I like him at that price. I think again he's another one to balance and one that we liked as a player. Daniel, I don't never get his name right, but Podence.
I think it's Podence, but yeah. I'm normally wrong.
I like him, and I think he's going to get more game time coming into this season. One I actually wondered though is who's going to replace Doherty in your mind?
Well, I haven't seen them be linked with anyone, so I can't really say. But then even in a lineup, I don't know. That's why I said. That's why I feel like they've got a young player that they're going to promote, unless they buy, obviously. But I feel like there'll be a young player that they'll promote. Nice. They do bring in a lot of players, so there must be someone behind the scenes wanting to bring some of the academy boys in. I can't see them just buying non-stop. Clubs can't survive like that.
Could you see young Max Kilman coming in or Burr, possibly?
I did look at Burr. So, yeah, possibly. I think we need to address how many Portuguese players they've now got. How many have they got now? How many have they got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They've got 10 Portuguese players in their squad.
Well, one would argue that Mendes has done his job.
I do want to touch on a bit of lazy business, which we don't like to see as scouts. Sheffield United, Ethan Mpandu, lazy signing in my eyes.
Why is that?
He's just a name, isn't he? He's just a name.
You tell me. I think, let's see the media.
He played 8 times for Exeter City. 8 times while on loan. And then he played 3 times in the league for Leipzig. It's got the total of 78 minutes. And you're telling me now he's all of a sudden Premier League level? I don't see it. Chelsea have never really shown any interest in using him. What's the most he's got in a season?
Well,
One game.
So, I mean, that's a pretty strong argument, to be fair. It's hard for me to come back with anything other than Giggsy uses him for Wales, but that doesn't feel that strong at this point.
But Wales aren't like a powerhouse in the Nations League or anything like that, are they? It's like they're not a hard nation to get minutes for.
So you can't see him cracking into that Sheffield United backline then?
Well, I can see him playing, but I don't see him doing any good, if I'm being totally honest. I think it's a lazy signing. I think they've just gone for a name that people know and the name that some agents probably sold them, and then that's how they've signed him.
And sad news for all us fantasy football players that Lundstrom, everyone's favourite player from last season, the 4 million gem we all loved, has gone up to A, a price of 5.5, which I think is quite disgusting, and also B, is now listed as a midfielder, which just makes him a bit shit to us now, to be honest. I like you, Lindstrom, I do. I love you from last season, but I think that's... And to be brutally honest, I then look at their squad, and the only one that really stood out for me is a kind of value shout early. You could go for a defender at 5, and you've got Egan, Basham, and O'Connell there. Stevens and Ball that we know are good at 5.5 with where they overlap. But the one for me, Ramsdale. I think that's a good replacement. Plays with his feet well. Was about 18, 20 million from Bournemouth. And at 5 million for a fantasy goalkeeper, 126 points last year in a team that got relegated with about 60 goals scored against. So he's done well to rack up that many points.
Yeah.
So I think in a team that can defend a lot better in front of him, I think this could be the interesting shout from their squad.
What do you think about Sander Berge? On a quick note, Sander Berge, do anything this season? Highly rated, isn't he? But
he is very highly rated.
I think I'm going to be honest. I think he's at the wrong team.
Right, where do you think he'd be better suited?
Top 6. If these highly rated players, they're not going to thrive in fighting squads. It's not what they do. They need time to grow.
Weren't fighting last year, to be fair.
No, but the way they play, they're not playing with like flair, and it's like it's not like a Man City, is it? They're a fighting team.
True. Okay, now I'll give you that. And right, in a word again, who's win? Sheffield United, Wolves, or draw?
I'm going to go Wolves, just about.
Nice. Very nice. And then last but not least on the old fixtures. And then we'll very quickly run through our teams, people, because we appreciate we have kept you a while today. But you then can't say we didn't give you the tips, so don't mind. It's Brighton, Chelsea. I'm sorry, Brighton fans, you've got a minute to 3 maximum. Brian, take the floor. What we got, Brighton?
I only need to talk about one man, so that's all right, and that is Mr. Ben White. Leeds desperate, begging to get him in. Offered 25 million, got door slammed in their face. Played over 4,000 minutes for Leeds last year in the Championship. He is serious. He could easily be playing for England as a centre-back. He's Brighton's guy, and if Brighton lose him, they go down. Simple as.
Ooh. He's that, and I'm guessing then, by the way you say that, he, in your mind, walks into this team and starts. But will he, in terms of
100%? If you do not start him, then you want to get relegated.
But will he want to play for Brighton with this Leeds move coming in?
Leeds move's been shut. There's no way they're getting.
It's done. Okay. So on that note, the good news for everybody is that with that rave review,
he's
price
playing.
coming
He is playing
in
every minute. There's no way he doesn't play every minute.
4.5 for White.
Oh, I might need to put him in my team.
I am actually taking out somebody and putting him in my team. Not gonna lie.
At the end of this, you just want to act like you had him all along.
What we don't realise, listeners, is actually what Brian's really been brought here to do is help me pick my squad.
He's the only person I would recommend. Yakan can be a bit of a mixed bag, can't he? But I think that's a stretch. And Mapai.
I think worth mentioning as well, Lallana signed for them, will more than likely play for them. So
Yeah.
How much you'll do, to be brutally honest.
It's
6.5.
just safe. It's safe, isn't it?
It's safe, but he's quite expensive. 6.5. I think there's more value to be found for that
Yeah.
price in the midfield.
I was meaning more. It's just safe for Brighton.
Yeah, certainly. But having said that, as we said earlier, say maximum 5.5. So if you're going down that route, I would.
You can't get the Lana in.
No,
I don't think he'll do it. He won't do enough.
No, I agree. And then last but not least, the team that has been the most active in the window. I know there is plenty to talk about with these.
There's almost too many to pick from, isn't there? And there's really, you look for a squad, there's no one I'm going to say that is not known. They've got almost like a Galacticos team these days, aren't they? Like Thiago Silva, Jorginho, Kante, Pulisic, Kovacic, lots of chiches around,
Chiches. I need some chiches around me. Hey.
But the player I went for, just purely because he might be the most unknown of the new boys, is Ziyech. I think it took him almost too long to get a big move. He's 27 now, and you don't normally get that big move from Ajax at 27. It's normally a lot earlier on. But I don't think it's done him any bad. 165 games in his career, 48 goals, 82 assists.
That's a very, very reasonable return, isn't it?
Yeah, that's over 3 seasons.
I like those numbers. I do like them indeed. He is, though, injured for the first game week, we believe. And I just think with the amount of... So it's a great bit of insight for longer term, because I think Ziyech will come into that team, as you say, and the style of football could potentially be quite scary, what Chelsea could play with this 11. But I think for the first game week, he's not going to win. But if you're thinking longer term, yes, Ziyech definitely. At 8 million, I would say he's very well priced. However,
definitely.
for me, I could not look beyond. I said that a few times today. There's a few prices that have slapped me in the face, and one of them had to be Kai Havertz at 8.5 million. I think that has potential to be huge value, just because his off the ball.
I've got 2 things on that. I've said from the start, Chelsea's top 2, or you got to sack Big Frank. Sorry, Frank, you're going if you don't get. Actually, no, top 3. I'll give him top 3. Give him top 3 because you spent too much money. Kai Havertz, I would say, is more risky than Ziyech, just age alone. I think Ziyech, he's been around the block now. He's 27. I think he will have no trouble coming in. Whereas Kai, will he need a couple of games? We've spoken about this before.
We have.
I think he might need 5 or 6.
I think this is an agree to disagree. For me, his off the ball movement is just ridiculous, and that's one thing you can get right.
I don't disagree as a talent. But I think coming into the Premier League, he's gonna need time to settle. I don't think Ziyech will.
But he's good enough.
Then if he's in your team, not racking up points for 5 or 6 weeks.
No, see, I think he'll be one of those though that he'll still get. The first few weeks are going to be he'll get a goal every other week or an assist every other week or something of that nature. Right?
Really?
And then I think when he gets settled in, it's going to be scary. This guy,
yeah. Of course, when he's settled, it's game over.
Then combinations between him, Pulisic, Ziyech, it's just disgusting.
But I'll put my hands up, and I have before, that I did not believe for 1 second that deal was even possible. After Werner and after Ziyech, I was like, okay, they're done. Yeah. And they're going to put out Kai Havertz.
And now I feel he has to play, because I saw something that said he's on 310 or 20 grand a week, and the next highest earner in Chelsea, I think it was Pulisic. It might have been Pulisic, it might not have been. But anyway, it's 180. 180, I think the next highest was after that. But it's a huge. It's Werner was on 180 after that. So there's a huge gap.
Werner, get a new agent, mate.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Jesus.
So if they're paying him that, as we said, Abramovich isn't someone who, he wants return on his investment. 90 or 70 million, potentially rising to 90 plus that. There's no way he can sit on the bench. And Lampard is not Mourinho to Shevchenko him. So
he'll definitely play, but I'm just on the fence on how long it will take him to get into his stride.
I think that's why I picked him as the playing thing, to be fair, because I think Pulisic, although there's an argument for Pulisic because he's settled into the team, as you said, we know he's good to go now. And at 8.5, I still think that is a good value, but I'd only have one or the other. Yeah. I wouldn't go both.
Yeah. For the first, the first 10 games, I'll probably have Ziyech, and then depending what happens with Havertz, I might switch.
Interesting. We can always revisit this clip at some point. One of us is going to age well, and one of us is going to age badly. Yeah. So I think, midfield-wise, so many options. I think Mount and Abraham are going to suffer this year, actually, and I think Abraham is a nice leeway into the strikers. So 7.5 Tammy, 7 Giroud, and 9.5 for Timo Werner. Now, Timo Werner to a lot of people is in the team. And I say a lot of people, Brian, I am actually precisely talking about 48%. Woo! Half the game almost have Werner. So
Wow.
if you don't put him in, then it's a gamble now. You either go with conform with the masses, because if he does badly, everyone's going to be suffering, or a lot of people, or and then you can take him out. But at the same token, I don't think he's going to play through the middle.
No, I've heard a lot of rumours of him playing out wide, and I do think even if he was playing down the centre, it's his debut season in the Premier League. So for so many people to take a gamble, when there are players like Vardy, I know they're a bit more expensive, but like Vardy and Kane that you could have, that like we've got into, that they get 20 goal contributions a season guaranteed. I think it is a bit of a blind risk.
I do agree. And actually, I know I kind of laughed off and just as a Man United fan was talking about how we're going to win the league, all the rest of it. But the reason why I was surprised by this, but just generally the kind of raving going on about Chelsea, I guess, at the moment, is that I think people need to be cautious about this. This isn't FIFA. You can't just buy all these great players, whack them in a team, and hey, there you go. As you most certainly know, Brian, it takes time for players to get patterns of play together. It takes time.
I think the reason because I do think that they will get top 3, so I could fall in the category of kind of going with the hype. But I think the difference Chelsea have done is that they've bought players of such high class that they have literally picked some of the top 5 or top 10 players in the world. So even if they don't fire on all cylinders for the first 10 games, tail end of season, once they're all gelled in with each other, I think they're going to be close to unstoppable for your average team in the Premier League. How are Brighton going to stop them? How are Burnley going to stop them?
I weirdly think, though, that Giroud is the best striker they could use for this, because I think if you go for the Hollywood setup, let's say, you have Werner through the middle, you have Havertz playing as the 10, you have Pulisic one side, Ziyech the other, and then Hudson-Odoi coming off the bench for some serious pace, Mount as well as an option. Now, that is, it's a pretty sexy 11, but all of those players are very, I don't want to say similar in their style, but there's no one there who's going to hold up the ball and bring them into play. They're all, they all just, you see what I mean? There's no pivot. There's no one they can work off.
I do know what you mean. But I suppose it depends on style of play. Because if they're going for counter-attacking football this season, then they're going to be very difficult to beat, because as soon as you lose the ball, you're going to have 3 or 4 extremely fast players running at your back line. So
I think how do you hold the ball? Because if they try and give it to Werner and he can't hold it or keep it with him because he's just not physically the biggest, then I think
Havertz is very tricky though, isn't he? I know he's no powerhouse. He's as small as me.
I just think Giroud's underrated.
Yeah, he is, but I can imagine Frank Lampard for the first 5 or 6 games of the season benches Werner and plays Giroud, and then they start losing games.
I don't think you bench Werner, though. I think you play Werner out left. I think you play Giroud through the middle. I think you play one of Pulisic or Ziyech on that side to keep one of them hungry.
But see what I mean? But then you're getting the issues. You're getting the issues of I can't play this player because I want to play Giroud. What do you want to lose either Pulisic or Ziyech over having the opportunity to play Giroud?
It's true. No, it's true. It's all up for debate. I mean, let's see. I think they're a better team with Werner not through the middle. I'll probably get proven to be very wrong in a few weeks. But let's see.
Well, I think he plays his best football down the middle, but he can play out wide, so it's no biggie.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be exciting, though. And Kepa, 5. Now, Kepa rubbish last season. Let's make no mistake about it. Absolutely not going to sugarcoat that. But with the new signings with Thiago Silva, who's 5.5, going to be sitting in front of him as well. And with Chilwell, who's also injured at the moment, but 5.5. They've obviously strengthened back there. Kepa's cheap in comparison to any other big. So we're talking about them being top 3. Edison and Alisson are both 7 million. So Kepa being
That's very
5.
true. But could it be if Chelsea bring in another goalkeeper? Because Kepa isn't in everyone's good books at the club, is he? Like, let's be honest. So could there be a little bit of reservation over him if they do bring in a goalkeeper? I suppose right now it's fine because of the free transfers and that. But if they do bring someone in late on, and then you've spent 5.5 on a keeper that is a rotational keeper.
Yes, no, that is true. That is true.
Could be a way to think. If not, then yeah, I don't see no reason. And I also think Thiago Silva at 5.5 is we're talking about a Champions League level, the Champions League final level centre back for 5.5.
One of the best centre backs in the world back in the day. I say back in the day.
But surely even now, like he's still one of the best. Maybe not the, but he's up there. You can't play in the Champions League final and not be.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's
to promote him, he's like one of the world's best strikers, isn't he?
True, and it's just gone under the radar because it was a free transfer. I think I say gone on the radar, but compared to the other big signings,
yeah. But I think that's one of their best in terms of financials, anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's a nice way to round that up very well. I bet, as we did say, Chilwell, we did mention him, but don't worry, he's injured, so 5.5. We could talk about him, but what's the point? So
yeah.
So I think we've given it a very in-depth kind of look at the teams there. Hopefully you guys have learned and got some insight in as to how these games are going to unfold. One question I did just ask you is, what did you think the result will be? Chelsea, Brighton?
Chelsea.
Cool. I agree. So yeah, some really good insight there. Thank you very much for the input, the Heff. But we're not done just yet, because we've got to just touch on the fact that Man United, City, Aston Villa and Burnley are not playing the first game week, which I have to say is very irritating. So all of those players like Pope, Peters, Tarkowski, Martial, Fernandes, Rashford, De Bruyne, Foden, Laporte, etc., they ain't going to be playing week 1. So we got to make a choice. What are you going to do, Brian?
Well, I'm taking the hit week 1, if I'm being honest. But I feel confident in my other players are playing that it's not going to be too much of a hit because 2 of them are defenders. So it's not like that they were going to bring in the massive points anyway. But then I am missing Mr. KDB, who I can't never reveal was in my team.
Yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem. But I think, so when you say taking the hit, have you got still an 11 out or have you gone a bit further than that?
Well, they are. Well, I could play a full squad with the bench.
Okay.
Well, so I probably will just do that anyway.
We won't jump the gun on it because next week, when these teams are back, we will go as in depth as we have on the rest of the teams on them, so that it'll be a little bit more condensed. There's only 4 of them, but you get the same sort of insight. So for now, we'll just say it's up to you guys. It's a choice. It's do you gamble and just get through week 1, or do you put points on the board, play an early wild card, or do you just slowly bring them in? Yeah, it's entirely up to you. But just be aware that they are not playing. So City, United, Aston Villa, and Burnley not playing. Happy that, Ron?
Indeed.
Indeed. Lovely. Just catching on. I only realised how much I say indeed when I listen back to this podcast. But anyway, so last things last. With all that information, what in the Jabibus did you do with your team?
Shall I just start from the goalkeeper onwards?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll go back and forth. You start with your 2 keepers.
Main keeper, I've gone for Alisson. And backup keeper, I've gone for Dubravka, who is out, but he's my backup keeper anyway.
Very nice. Very nice. I have currently got in my team, I'm actually just going to... So I've currently got Ramsdale as my number 1, and I have got at 5 million, and Nyland as my number 2 of Villa. Now, reason for Nyland being he's the cheapest playing goalkeeper at 4 million, so it's a safe backup unless Villa sign a keeper, and this is until Tom Heaton is fit. So that's why he's
Tactics.
And And Ramsdale, Sheffield United, good defence. I think he's the best value of those defenders as we touched on the pod. So he's my starting number one keeper.
Nice. I think I've played it safe, but I know what I'm going to get from Allison.
Nice. And you're back 5?
I've actually got back 3.
Oh, but as a squad, let's get the squad and then go with the system for game week 1 after.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I've got the 3 that are playing. I've got I can't pronounce his name. So Kunchu. The Turkish Leicester City centre back. Soyuncu, yes, I've got Soyuncu. Next to him, obviously he's not playing, but I would have Tarkovsky.
Nice.
And then I've gone for Nathan Ake.
So the prices are Tarkovsky 5 million, is that correct?
I believe it's something around that.
Don't worry, I can just bear with me one moment, listener.
He's 5.5.
5 he's gone up this season a bit. So
I think it's because people know, don't they?
Yes.
They know what they're getting from him.
Leicester's also shoot 5.5.
Yeah, and Ake's 5.5.
Yes, so you've gone 3 relatively big hitters there. Go on, and the other 2 are, sorry?
Dunk and Cody.
Oh, I like that. Cody's a good shout. And Dunk's not bad at all either.
Yeah, I think Dunk he'll probably play next to Ben White most of the time anyway, so them two as a partnership could be quite decent. There's a bit of rotation. They'll probably actually play the first week because obviously Tarkovsky and Ake are out. So
nice. And in terms of Brighton as well, first 3 I think are not horrendous if I remember correctly. Oh wow, ooh, sorry.
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, that's why he's on my bench.
I got that completely wrong. Brighton's are absolutely horrendous.
That's why he's on my bench.
You can unveil those if you'd like to, Brian.
Sorry.
So it's Chelsea, United, and
jeez, I don't know.
Chelsea, United, and Newcastle for Brighton. First 3.
They could beat Newcastle. They try.
Giving them a 1 in 3 chance. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's your back 5. Very nice. So I've gone with Dallas at Leeds. I've gone Amati at Leicester, 4 million. Dallas 4.5. Gone Carl Walker-Peters, 4.5. I have gone Burr at Wolves, 4.5. 4, sorry. Not even 4.5 from here, 4. And Ben White.
Oh, you've just snuck him in, have you?
I've snuck him in for 4.5. Funnily enough, you won't like this, but prior to that, I did have Amparado in there.
So you got to completely.
You shamed me into changing him.
Dallas is interesting because I'm pretty sure he's extremely versatile. So you might be paying for a centre back and getting a left mid.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Right now, the midfield where it starts getting juicy.
Yes.
Do you want to start?
Indeed. I'll start if you want. Right. Got McGinn.
Ooh,
The workhorse of Aston Villa.
Price?
His price is 5.5.
Very nice.
Then I have one of my favourite players in the Premier League this season, Mr. Mateusz Klich, the workhorse of Leeds United, and 3rd top goal scorer, I believe, last season.
Penalty taker.
So, yeah, can get goals as well. Then next to him, I've got the obvious 11.5 million Kevin De Bruyne.
Nice. Now, there's one we haven't spoken about. One of the elephants in the room. Why De Bruyne over Sterling for you? So Sterling is 12 million for those listening, and De Bruyne 11.5.
Well, the extra 0.5 helps a little bit, I suppose. And I think De Bruyne is just so consistent. I have no doubts in my mind that he's going to have a good season. Whereas Sterling, he can be up and down sometimes. I know he's started to kick on, obviously, in recent years, but you never know. Old habits could creep in. He could go on a goal drought for ages. So I feel like De Bruyne is just a safer bet.
No, I think it's a fair comment to make. I can't see. I think the only thing though is that Pep's rotation last year screwed a lot of people, myself definitely included in that. So what makes you think De Bruyne will play more minutes than Raheem Sterling.
But De Bruyne is... Well, it's hard to say he's the main man of Man City because of their squad, but like he's extremely important. when he plays well. So I think to bench him, I know obviously Pep is a bit of a tactics man, but to bench him is always going to be dangerous. So I can see him getting solid minutes, and he doesn't even need that many minutes to score goals and get assists. So I'm not too concerned.
So confident on KDB over Raheem.
Yeah, we got close to nearly 3,000 minutes last season.
Yeah, that's pretty insane, to be fair. No, that's a fair point. So go on, crack on. Sorry, with the rest of the.
My last two are Adama Traore, 6.5.
Nice.
I think he's just brilliant to watch, and 9 assists, 4 goals last season. It's a good addition to the midfield because I am playing a midfield 5. And then my last midfielder is Mateus Pereira, 6 mil, which I think is a bit expensive for a guy coming up. But Mateus Pereira, he's going to be the man of West Brom in terms of like goals and assists. So I think if they do well, he does well.
Now, what I find interesting is we've got 3 players here at 5.5 that I think are worth just directly, real quick fire one at you because we've spoken about all 3 of them. But Diagne, Saint Maximum, or Klitsch, 5.5 each.
I think I know Saint Maximum Klitsch.
Give me a 1, 2, 3.
I'll probably go Klitsch.
As you 1. So who's 2?
Yeah, and then Saint Maximin Diangana, just because, like I said, I really like Diangana, but I think Saint Maximin is just safer if you're talking fancy football. So okay. I think yeah, in that order would be what I'd go for. I think Klitsch above Saint Maximin as well, just because I expect him to play every minute because Bielsa's a big fan of him. He played him, I'm pretty sure, literally every minute last season. So I can't see him not getting game time.
Well, I think that's a very good way to look at the kind of options in your midfield. You want a safe one, if nothing else, for your bench, just so that you know you're never going to have, well, not never, but you've got an option that's unlikely to have a 0-point game week. So that is, it's good. It's good thinking. So mine, I've gone big. I went B-R-G in the midfield.
Ooh.
I'll start from low to high. I've gone Saint Maximin.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's solid.
5.5. Then I've got Kai Havertz, 8.5.
What's that? Okay, we're starting small.
And then Son, 9.
Wow.
Bruno Fernandes, 10.5.
It's interesting that he's 10.5.
And to top it all off, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
I mean, that's a very dangerous midfield. I can't even comment because I think that speaks for itself. It's a dangerous midfield. Obviously, there's no guarantees, but I mean who's the weak link in that, really? Like,
he's just got
Maximin, is he the weak link? But he's even good, isn't he? So like, maybe like I said, Kai Havertz starting slow. If Saint Maximin isn't what he was before, but you'd rely on a lot of unlucky things to happen for your midfield not to do well.
Exactly. It's just got to do well enough to cover the cracks in my defence.
Yes.
And then my final front 3 up top, just to keep it simple. I say final. This isn't final at all, and I'm more than likely going to change this because actually, having talked about it over this pod, I've decided I don't want Wilson and St. Maximum in my team. But for the sake of the pod,
I think mine is final, by the way.
Oh, nice. All right, fair play. Gutsy, going to stick. But Wilson at 6.5 Newcastle, Jimenez 8.5 Wolves, and Anthony Martial 9 million at Manchester United.
I think what I'll say is that we can see that you went for an expensive midfield because there's no you haven't got like that striker that you know is guaranteed to, like, obviously Martial can be good, Jimenez can be good, and who's your last one, sorry?
He's Wilson. Callum Wilson.
Yeah, no, they are gambles, those 3. Then there's no guarantees.
Martial is not a gamble.
I think he is. Like he can be up and down, can't he? He's not. He's not like
Martial are not lying. 200 points last season. Now,
but I think when you hear my front 2, you'll say, "Well, I think yours are gambles."
Well, it's true. But I think, to be honest, the moves that I'm more than likely going to make is I'm going to drop out a little. One of those midfielders is going to go, and I'm looking at one of Son or Havertz because I want Harry Kane in my team, which I touched on earlier. I think if I'm going to have one Spurs attacking player, it's going to be Kane. So I agree on the big striker front, to be fair, but it's there for people to play with. But I'll put that on
would you
there,
like to hear my big striker front?
Go on then.
My first striker. Oh, should I go from low to high?
Go low to high, go on.
On the bench, because I play 2 up front, Fabio Silva, because I love him, 5.5. You know, I believe in him, so I've got to back him and put him on the bench at least.
You backed him, to be fair. Can't deny
Yeah.
that.
Then starting, Jamie Vardy
Ooh,
at
very
10 million. And then next to him, Harry Kane at 10.5.
Damn, he's gone big.
So going through the stats that we spoke about and earlier in the pod about both Vardy and Kane's goal contributions consistently, injuries could get me, but I feel all right. And I think if injuries get me, I'm happy with Fabio Silva, or I could drop one of the midfielders. I could play around tactics a little bit.
Nice. No, I like it. So for the first game week, what does that give you as a lineup?
Well, probably because of the fixtures, it'll probably be Alisson, Sontu, Dunk, Cody. I'm going to be a bit stuck in midfield, so it's going to be McGinn, Klitsch, De Bruyne, Traore, Pereira, Kane, Vardy.
So it's a 4-4-2, is that right?
3-5-2.
3-5-2. Okay, so yeah. So that's still good though. I mean, my first week is not looking as exciting as that, I have to be honest. I've got so my team 4-4-2 this week with White, Eiling, Waters, Peters, and Burr. Then I'll have Saint Maximin, Aubameyang, Son, Havertz, and then Wilson, Jimenez up front. And then my bench, no one can play.
Yes, this first week might actually be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, Martial, Fernandez, Nyland, all not playing. So I've got to pray that my whole 11 plays, because otherwise I'm losing points. But I'm going the other way to you. I'm taking the gamble. I want 3 of those players in my squad. So I've gone for it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's why I have Duncan Cody, because I knew Doko Skriniaki weren't going to play, so I could just swap them 2 out. And then really, I'm only missing McGinn and De Bruyne, who are big players to miss, but with Vardy and Kane up front, Klitsch, Traore, Pereira, I'm pretty confident I can still do all right in a week that a lot of people will struggle.
We will find out. And do you know where we'll be checking those points out of interest?
Do I know where you'll be checking them? On our website?
There you go.
Which you can check out now.
We didn't even prepare that one, people. He already knows. I drilled it so well. So, exactly. Through the website, you can join our Fantasy Premier League.
Indeed.
So, it's that time. We've given you all the information. There's articles on there. There's tweets. There's Instagram posts. There's YouTube videos. There's all kinds of shit, people. So, check it out. And please join our league. It can all be done through the website. You literally go www.couchmanagers.co.uk. Just navigate to the podcast if you want to subscribe to that. Navigate to the join our FPL league if you want to join us. And all you got to do is click the picture, and there's not even a code. Straight into the league. Straight in.
Yeah, but the only thing with that is, wouldn't it be better if there was some sort of prize for winning this league?
It's a good point. It's a good point because we're new. It's true, isn't it? What can we give people that everyone else is just chucking out money? We can't throw money at people. I don't have money like that, man. We need to make some money before we can start spending money like that. Shit. But what we did get, you know those old school MasterCard adverts like this. Well, how much does in fact, that's a good question for you, Brian. How much does a vintage Man United shirt cost, do you reckon?
I have no clue. And I'm a bit of a shirt guy.
Probably a couple hundred.
It could be very expensive. Yeah, a couple of hundred. It could be very expensive.
Day trip to Old Trafford, few hundreds. Travel to Wembley, wherever you're going. These things, there's some things, a lot of things, actually, that money can buy. But not our price. No, which technically it did, push. But...
You can't buy it off of us.
two signed Jeff Hurst posters, hand-signed Jeff Hurst posters, 1966 World Cup posters. Now, the poster is a print. The signature is not. It's hand-signed. There's a certificate of authenticity that comes with it. That's even been countersigned by a trustee of the company so that you know we ain't fucking with you. It's a real. There's two of them. One is for, obviously, the winner of the Couch Manager FPL. So make sure you're in the league. And another reason to make sure in the league is because there'll be one that we thought we're going to be fair here, because it's not fair to just say first, second, I think, because everyone knows how it goes in fantasy football. After a few weeks, certain people are way up top. You're in your own little mini battles halfway down leagues. It's very tough. And people lose interest and they go, I'm never going to win the prize anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you got two. But it does this time. And Brian, why does it matter this time?
Gonna be honest, I can't remember.
Knew it. I knew it. I was just trying to give the listeners a break from me ranting, but fine it, I'll do it. So
it was all the player prep before. It frazzled my brain.
For your first time on the pod, mate, you've done brilliantly, to be fair. So I can't in any way moan. But no, the reason why it's still worth you staying with us and staying active with the league and checking out the podcast is because at the end of the season on the podcast live, we are going to put all of the names of the people in our league into a hat, and we're going to pull out one, and that person will also win a signed Jeff Hurst 1966 World Cup poster and get, obviously, the certificate of authenticity to go with it. So literally just for being in the league, you could finish last and somehow still land this poster. So.
Yeah, that'd be the biggest slap in the face of the winner, but, that's what it's all about.
and if you don't know who Jeff Hurst is, then just Google it, because I'm not even going to start explaining that kind of medial bullshit to people. You need to just Google it and know that. You can't be like in football and not know who Jeff Hurst is, so check it out. But I think I'd like to say, obviously, thank you very much to the listeners, first and foremost, for sticking with us if you have. It's been an absolute epic pre-season rundown, but a real big thank you to the Heff as well. First time ever recording, first time ever on a podcast. We've done a lot of this on kind of shortish notice as John is, he was really hoping to be here, but it just didn't quite work out for him today. So, big thank you to Brian, and we'll have you back on the pod soon, hopefully.
Yeah, very happy to be on. First time, of course, but more than happy to come back. And like I said, you can find me on the Twitter page if you think I was talking bollocks, and then maybe give us a follow after.
Couch.managers for the Twitter. You can find all the social medias through the website as well. You can find Brian's articles, James's articles, John and I's just random shite plus YouTube.
We do transfer rumors as well. It's a bit of everything.
All kinds of stuff. Just check it out. www.couchmanagers.co.uk. Looking forward to having John back with us next week, and I reckon we got to try and find a way of getting the Heff and the Hawk on here again as well, because put a new dimension, baby.
It's too dramatic, isn't it, of a name?
But we don't want to give too much away to the listeners, because it's going to be a brand new season. This was all the preseason. The brand new season will be coming next week. So stay tuned. All new improvements, all kind of things coming. Stick with us, people. It's been a pleasure. Anything else from you, Brian?
No, I think that's it, to be honest. I think we've covered absolutely everything. I think 16 players covered, and even more than that on the side. I think we've given them more than enough information to go with now.
I'm true. This has been an absolute epic. It's been a pleasure, people. Hope you enjoy it. Long one, but power through it. It's worth sticking with. Take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Couch Managers Podcast. Please don't forget to check out the website and join us in our fantasy football league. www.couchmanagers.co.uk. Oh, and whilst you're there, give all the social medias a subscribe. And the podcast too. Thank you.